Community Viewpoint.
And welcome once again to Community Viewpoint. I'm John Pawlak, your host for this segment. And as you can see, since we only have one camera today, my guest today is Heather Freeman, a former educator who is part of a group that I'm part of. It's called Clean Up Pahrump, and she's part of 623 other people that you can find on Facebook. And they do a great deal of good for this community. And Heather, if you'd like to tell us a little bit about how'd you get started with Clean Up Pahrump to begin with?
I met Faith Muello through Clean Up Pahrump. I saw a post one day that she was going to go out and pick up an illegal dump site off the end of Lambert, I believe. She'd been out riding her horse and came across a pile of garbage that someone had dumped there. And she put out a challenge on another help site asking for help to go out and pick up trash. And I wasn't able to go on that cleanup, but a few weeks later she was looking for someplace in town, and I nominated my own neighborhood because I wanted help picking it up. And she and a guy named Brett came over, and we spent an hour and picked up trash. And from there, it's just snowballed. Like John said, we have over 650 members. About once a week, there's a group pickup. There's several of us that individually might meet in twos or threes and pick up along the street. There's always plenty of illegal dumping off in the desert on BLM land and private land. And we just are trying to take action. We're tired of hearing about they. We are they.
Right.
We have to do it ourselves. If you see something that needs doing, take action and do it.
Whereas a lot of people don't. They rely on other people to pick up after them. I think that starts in the home, though, unfortunately. But we're going to look at some of the pictures as we start the program of some of the good that the folks do with Clean Up Pahrump. So let's start with the first one with Curtis. So this is Curtis Lambert. He had 14 bags of trash in his vehicle. And let me remind you, the folks here don't have trash vehicles. I've used my van to pick up, shopping carts too,
yes.
as well as
yep.
garbage. But they pick them up maybe once a week. They'll spend an hour, maybe 2 hours. And then whatever they can, they'll put in their own vehicles and take it to the landfill.
Yep. John, I often will be driving down the road, and as long as I'm not on my way that I have to be somewhere at a certain time, I'll pull off on the side of the road, open my trunk, and throw whatever I find in the back and either put it in my own trash can at home, or sometimes I've found businesses who will see what I'm doing and say, oh, here, you can put it in our dumpster. So there are a lot of good people out there doing good, and I think if we just take action more often, it'll get done sooner.
And you're taking responsibility, like we all should, basically. So the next picture we have is on Rainbow Avenue. This is the group after they cleaned up on the area there. And there, what do we have, about 17, 18 people over there. This was, let's see, the 300 pounds of trash from the Red Apple fireworks to the American National Bank on State Road 160. There was another picture there. Yeah, there's the trash. So people bringing their own vehicles and then taking things away. And the garbage bags, they're either bought by the folks themselves, ourselves, or they're donated. Like I think Mom's Diner donated some. There were some other people too that donated.
I know that Walmart has chipped in a few cases. Two Star Towing donated some bags.
And my next picture was Jason Dobson on September 8th. He had 780 pounds of trash, including 19 tires. So that's just miserable people just dumping their tires all over the valley.
It's especially sad because our Nye County landfill is open to the public 7 days a week from 8 a.m. through 4 p.m. and people say it's free. Actually, it's included in your property tax bill. So the landowners who pay their property taxes are funding the landfill. And I believe private citizens can take up to 20 tires a week. So there's absolutely no reason to put your tires out into the desert. You can take it to the landfill and they will be processed with the other tires there.
Unless you're lazy, sorry.
Or if it's before 8 in the morning or after 4, but Saturday and Sunday, it's open Saturday and Sunday as well. 7 days a week, almost 365 days a year. There are 3 days that the landfill takes off. Christmas, Thanksgiving, and Easter, I believe.
And we have one last picture from Patricia Robb, and who also, you'll see $6 in there, so she made some money picking up because that was in the trash on the side of the road when she was picking up. So it pays to pick up not only personally, but you could find money from time to time.
Yeah.
But you have to be careful what's on the side of the road or any place that you're picking up, because you could find hazardous materials, you could find needles and things like that. So always be careful when you are picking up.
Yeah.
Make sure you're off this on the side of the road,
Right.
especially the state roads.
You want to make sure that you're far enough back from the highway. We don't want any accidents. We also encourage everyone to wear very sturdy gloves, and if you're going off into weeds at all, please wear long socks, long pants, boots if you have them, just for your own protection from weeds, bugs, anything that might bite.
Yes, it's always good to have your tetanus shots up to date also.
Yeah.
Luckily, I'm a veteran, so luckily I'm able to get my shots for free. So
Yeah.
I'm always up to date on those.
And always be smart. Carry water with you, and if you start to feel overheated or anything, get back in the shade.
So it's always another tip is go there early in the morning.
Right. Yeah.
And before the sun gets up there in the middle of the day, you're done. So now the temperature is getting a little bit better, so we could extend the hours also.
Yeah.
So Heather has a lot of tips for us, so we're not picking up so much. So what are some of the things we can do to make sure there's not all that trash out there to begin with?
One thing we can do is if each of us individually as citizens were to take a personal pledge to reduce our use of single-use plastics. One quick, simple tip to do is when you go to a restaurant, don't take a straw, or ask the waitress to not bring you a straw in the first place. At home, most of us drink out of the side of a glass. We can do it out in public as well. And if you're going out to your favorite restaurant that you know you always get leftovers, go ahead and take your own container from home. Most places would be pleased to use your container. That way you're not taking home a styrofoam box or a plastic bag. If you can, bring your own grocery bags. Smith's has the extra 5 points per bag towards your gas credit. That's a little incentive. And if you do forget your plastic bags, Smith's has paper. I'm pretty sure Albertsons does too.
Yes.
And then those paper bags can be used to keep your own recyclables in at home. If you recycle your paper, put it in a paper bag, then when it gets in the sorting bins at Walmart, it's already in a paper sack. Something else you can do is to bring your own produce bags. I've been researching on Amazon. Right now, if you order them, they're about $1 a bag. So I want to try to get a little cottage industry started to sew our own net bags and maybe sell them at the farmer's market. In Australia, they don't have little produce bags in their grocery stores. Everyone uses a net bag and just rewashes and reuses them. That would save a lot of plastic out of our landfill if we just did those few things. Another thing is to not buy water in water bottles or not buy any beverage in a plastic bottle. Bring your own bottle, refill it, or if you must buy something, buy it in a big enough jug that it's going to warrant the use for plastic. So that's a couple of ideas I have.
Another reason for not using the plastic bottles, we don't want to get into on this program, but something called microplastics too, that it's not good for you, especially if you've got the plastic bottles that you may keep in the car from time to time, and they heat up and they cool off, heat up and cool off. You're going to lose a little of the plastic just by doing that also. But look up microplastics. I don't want to get into it in this program, but
Another thing that we do at my house, just when you get down to the bottom of a bottle, go ahead and cut the side of the bottle open and get every bit of product out of it. Or swish water around in the bottom of the laundry jug. Just get all the product out of it, and that will reduce how many times you buy a product in a plastic bottle.
I'm always getting the last out of the Miracle Whip. My wife doesn't like Miracle Whip, but I'm always getting the last out of that quart jug.
I was just, this morning I cut the bottom off of a tube of hand lotion and got the last out with my finger. Just, I don't like wasting money on throwing product away. So that's one reason to try to reduce plastic too, is the economic impact. The more plastic we buy, the more waste is on the planet, and if you can just use less to begin with, that's one way to keep it out of the landfill.
Yeah, like places like UNLV have the water fountains that are,
Yes.
you can refill your bottles, your metal bottles, not necessarily the plastic bottles. You could refill them there, so you're not buying water bottles, bottled water in the vending machines over there. So they've been doing that for a few years now.
And a friend of mine just showed me a filtered water bottle made by, can I promote a product? Brita. It comes with its own little Brita filter in it. So when you refill it, if you're not sure of the tap source, at least you know that it's been filtered.
And pretty much our water here is good to drink.
Yes.
So don't let anybody tell you that you shouldn't be drinking the water we have from our aquifer, because it is good water. And a lot of times we'll have a softener, or in my refrigerator I have a little area for cold water, and it goes through a filter in my refrigerator, and also for the ice cubes also. So there's really, unfortunately, the water a lot of times you get in these bottles is from a municipal source anyway, so all they're doing is putting it in here and throwing a few bits of plastic in there to get into your body too. So you're not gaining anything, but they're making some money off of us. So, and we're out of time. Oh my God. Thank you so much, and thank you for watching. Oh my God, the time got away from us.
Thank you, John.